Hello.
Yes, yes, Ashna, I can hear you, but
Yeah, I can hear you now.
now you can hear me? Okay, okay,
Yes, yes, I can.
okay, okay. Everyone is back? I guess, okay. So one breakout room, okay. All breakout room, everyone should be back. Okay, so everyone is back. I hope you could introduce yourself briefly. Maybe time was not enough for some people, but for some people, time was too much. So this also, you can see it as uh, at times maybe you're not able to stretch the conversation and you're like, okay, I'm done, please let me go back to be a listener. Right? Okay, so today we'll have this every Friday, uh, sorry, special day kind of, where we'll open our group discussion for everyone, and the topic will be very startup specific, and we are calling it startup night out. So every Friday 10 p.m. Same ID will work for startup night out, and we'll have it for 1 hour roughly, and then we can have a bit of a casual discussion post that, and feel free if you want to leave at 11:15 if you wish to. We'll continue this totally till 11:30. Okay. So till 11 we'll have a bit of formal. After 11 we'll do a bit informal kind of discussion. So like I was I think mentioned in the groups, the topic that we are going to talk today. So one more thing, today I'm going to talk in English because we have some people from outside India. So I'm just for the sake of everyone's understanding, I'm using English. Uh, but I mean, if you want to speak in Hindi, feel free to answer anything, and we'll try to translate. Okay. Okay, coming to our topic. So we have some people from Dudash are here, I can see, and we have one person from Garo who's from Co-Founders Planet. So let me do a small, like a general introduction also. So Garo, please introduce yourself to the whole crowd.
Yeah. Hi everyone, this is Gaurav Agarwal. I am essentially from finance background. I am a chartered accountant and from St. Xavier's, currently a part of the cohort of IIM Kashipur. And now I consider myself as an HR by default. I am the entrepreneur and the founder of SMBA Consultants and Co-Founders Planet. So I'll emphasize more on Co-Founders Planet. Co-Founders Planet is an online community of advisors, entrepreneurs, and founders. So what problem we are trying to solve is we want to match co-founders on equity. So one important thing which we see in most of the startup owners is they all struggle to build their core team. One, because they cannot afford to hire the leadership roles. Second, they do not find any good people who can form and relate to their vision. So that is what the idea for Co-Founders Planet is. We want to do the matchmaking and try to match the co-founders on specifically equity. So that is what the idea behind Co-Founders Planet, which we consider as a startup for startups.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Gaurav. Let's have few people from Dudash also. Enrico, are you there? Could you introduce yourself? And yes, Enrico.
Hi, just start my video.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi there. Hi, everybody. My name is Enrico Kivido. I'm from Cape, Africa. So just joined Vishal on DoDash. And it's just a platform where we bring everybody
Enrico, you're
pages that they are in and just add. So my background, I think my internet is a bit unstable.
Yeah, now,
I'll just
now it's
stop my
okay.
video.
Yeah, maybe switch off the video. That's
Stop with the video, yeah. So my background is I was in financial services for 25 years. I do business advisory and consultancy now as well. So I look at business processes, look at the the owner of the business to see whether they are skilled in the necessary field that they need to be skilled in to run the business, and we then get a select group of professionals around them, like accountants. We also run a media and communications company that does communication. So we create the environment where a business can flourish and grow from from where they are. Yeah, thanks, Shah.
Who was in your breakout room? Did you get to know anyone? Yes, Sanjay.
Yep.
So did you
Yes.
get introduced to anyone in breakout room?
Yeah, it was Hari, Ujjwal, and Abhishek.
Okay.
So and Anupam, yeah. So I connected with Hari.
Sure.
So we'll take the conversations offline.
Sure.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Anupam. Okay, let's hear Naman. Are you there? You named yourself very strange. Let me rename you.
Yes, I am here.
Yes. Please
Let me give.
introduce yourself also, and like introduce what you are doing in DoDash to the rest of the
Let me
people.
introduce myself. I am a final year mechatronics engineer student, full of robotics ideas and daydreamer. Uh, as of DoDash is concerned, I am selected as a Vadodara city leader. I am leading my city Vadodara, and I am selected with the same cohort in which Vishal is selected as city leader in Kolkata. And Vishal and me have uh, just got great connections in such a less time, and I know Vishal is such a great person, and uh, it would be great connecting with you all too.
Who was in your breakout room?
In my breakout room, I talked with Saurabh, Prakash Nimbalkar sir, and Aman Raj Vasho.
So, do you want to introduce one of them? Anyone? Pick anyone. Whoever you remember.
uh, yeah, Prakash sir. I just talked with Prakash sir, and we had a very fruitful and insightful conversation on digital marketing. Like MSME companies do not have knowledge of digital marketing, and even many of them do not have idea of LinkedIn. So it was the breakout room was also a really very healthy discussion. And I have also told Prakash sir to, so that Vadodara City second webinar would be you, and he agreed. He is a very nice person.
Yeah, till the COVID situation is there, you can pretty much invite anyone.
Yeah.
Most people will be okay if they are free. Okay. Okay. Let's have one more introduction. Saurav, could you introduce yourself to everyone? Are you there? Saurav, are you there? Yes, Saurav, please.
Yeah. Hi everyone, this is Saurabh, and I have my own startup by the name ClearDeco. We have 68 optical stores across India. That's it. Looking forward to interacting with all of you and learning and sharing our experiences. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's have a quick introduction from Mr. Prakash. Please unmute.
Okay.
Yes, please. Please
Yeah,
introduce
can you all hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, hi, this is Prakash Nimbalkar. This is my first day today. Let me switch on my video if some of you are keen to see how I look. I was sitting in balcony actually. Okay, here I am. Okay, myself Prakash Nimbalkar. I've done close to 2 decades in corporates, worked in MNC, worked in Indian companies, worked in Middle East also, and developed the passion for digital marketing and teaching and training over the last half a decade or so. I moved out of corporate in 2017 to go on my own. Right now, I'm a startup consultant when it comes to their branding, marketing, and advertising communication, and also a B school faculty. I teach MBA students on marketing, communication, branding, and digital marketing. Okay, I'm a digital marketing practitioner also, and I do take part in such events and webinars and such other program wherein I am invited to share my thoughts and share my knowledge. I'm also on consulting with a couple of startups at this moment with very early stage. One of them has been recently funded also. So that's what I am.
Thank you very much. Atul sir, please introduce yourself to the rest of the crowd.
Namaste everyone. My name is Atul Kumar and I'm based in San Jose, California, and I have been involved in helping entrepreneurs just like Prakash ji said. So I also get excited anytime there is some startup who wants to talk to me or in any way they want some help or they have something to share. So startups is what I've been involved with in many ways. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. Let's have one introduction from young entrepreneur Wasim. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Vasim, and I'm with one of the co-founders from Solid.
Your voice is getting low volume. I think your mic is moving away. No,
Audible now?
no, still low volume. It was okay in the beginning. Maybe you can exit and enter again. I don't know. That might help. Okay, let's hear from Azhar. Azhar, please introduce yourself.
Yes, hello. Hey
Yes.
there, I'm Azhar Rabbani. I'm from Kolkata. We are foraying into B2B sector in the polymer industry, as well as we have some clients whom we manage to grow them digitally. We have a very good portfolio, a client named P4 India. They have a currently revenue of 100 CR, but they were fully in traditional way. Now under our umbrella, we have helped them a lot. Now they have completely application on Google Play Store, and we have a download of 10,000 plus. We are getting a recurring order of polymer plastic materials on a daily basis from at least 500 to 600 consumer. So these are the portfolio we're working on, as well as we're working on B2B platform.
Okay, thank you. Abhishek, please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, myself Abhishek Kumar, founder of Ajanta Group. Basically, my organization work in the field of LED light and robotics to organize a robotic workshop in school and colleges.
Okay. Who was in your breakout room?
Hari sir.
Okay.
And one person from South Africa.
Oh, maybe Enrico, I think. Yeah.
Yes, Enrico.
Sure. Okay. Mr. Hari, I think your virtual screen is camouflaging you. Yeah, please introduce yourself to the crowd.
Yeah, thank you, Vishal. So my name is Hari Kutti, and I am an instrumentation engineer, and I have completed my PGDM from Wellington into marketing and HR. So I have around 9+ years of experience into B2B sales. Currently, I'm working with National Chromatography as a business head, taking care of sales of Pan India. And apart from that, I have recently started my own venture, which is into supply of laboratory equipments and HPLC consumables. The name of my startup is HRK Analytics.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you. Narendra, could you introduce yourself, please? Yes, Narendra.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Myself, Narendra Sahel. I am from Kolkata, and I have a startup like Oetila, and we basically work on manufacturer to retailer. We connect to each other to both people. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Aman, please, Aman Raj.
Yeah, hello sir, I am audible.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Aman Rajvashu, born and brought up in Bihar. Currently studying in Prayagraj. Proud to be a social reformer. I am a social media entrepreneur, author, and looking to expand my skills with a network of Solomons like you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ujjwal, are you there? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please introduce.
Yeah, namaste. Hello, everyone. I am Ujjwal, and I am pursuing a BCom from University of Allahabad, and I'm also a founder and CEO of UOL Now. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Muskan, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. Right now I'm pursuing PGDM in Finance from IMT Ghaziabad, and I have an experience of working in the core field of finance, and I'm a stock market investor too, and I'm a totally a finance person. Thank you.
Sejal, please introduce yourself. Yes, sir.
Hello everyone, my name is Sejal Jain and I belong to Madhya Pradesh, and currently I'm working as a country manager in learning while traveling. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Talon Laksh joined just now. Could you introduce yourself, Laksh? Please unmute. Are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Please
Hi.
introduce.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. This is Stanley Lakshya here. I am currently into stock market. So what we do is we invite people who are ready for trading, taking trading calls for us. And what we do is we analyze their portfolio and investment managing firms. And so we started these firms nearly 6 months back, and we are doing pretty good as well. So if anyone is interested, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's that? Kundan. Kundan, please introduce yourself briefly. Are you there? Yeah.
Hello, myself Kundan Solanki from Tripalati, Allahabad. Currently, I am living in Bhopal. I am working on a platform called GameRoll, where we will provide sports training. We will also provide the one-on-one physical exercise, sports arena booking, and also the equipments to the sports persons.
Sure. Thank you.
That
Anupam, quickly, briefly introduce yourself. Yes.
Hello everyone, I am Anupam Sukla, just a student who wants to learn about entrepreneurship skills. That's why I am here. I have also learned digital marketing. I do freelancing as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So let's come to our discussion now, and if if anyone is left, we can have introduction later also. So first question we have on the floor is about the advantages and disadvantages of male and female co-founder in our team. So we have been discussing briefly this in various other sessions also, that a female co-founder or a female core team member can have some advantages or disadvantages. So let's hear from our co-founders, founder Gaurav. Gaurav, what's your take on this male-female ratio maintenance at a core team level, please?
Okay, so first of all, it is completely skill-based. To be very honest, without sounding bit, gender-related, the co-founder choice should be essentially upon the skills. So when I go deep down into the skills and the relationship building, we will have to hands down agree that females are much better than male counterpart when it comes to relationship building. So say for example, if I talk about say convincing a person, if you are say talking to another CXO or probably another person who want to be convinced with your concept or idea. So it becomes easy when a female person is trying to pitch in the concept essentially. So if I talk about the relationship building or probably sales, marketing, that those kind of roles females can handle much better compared to the male counterpart. So essentially in that particular skill set, if I talk about a female co-founder is something which we should look at. So that is where the role of female co-founder peeps in. And talking about, a male or a female co-founder. So male, as I said, the emphasis should always be on the skills and understanding, first of all, what are the gaps in your own company. Say, for example, your company, your product is ready, but you are failing to market the particular product. Then you should actually look for a person who is bearing those kind of marketing skill sets. So then you will look for a chief marketing officer or a co-founder of marketing and sales. And on the other end, if you are yourself good at business development and marketing, but you think that your tech is not that good, you need somebody who can be good in technicals, then you will look for somebody who can handle your department of technical. So that is where you will look for a CTO, chief technical officer, or a co-founder who can take care of your technical department, so that you can full-fledged focus on the business development and the tech department can be taken care by your co-founder. And as they always say, 1 plus 1 always makes it 11, not 2. So that is the concept which Co-Founders Planet also runs on, that it always becomes easier when you have another co-founder sharing your vision, sharing your pain points, discussing the ideas, brainstorming with you. So that is where the advantage of a co-founder essentially lies.
Sure. Let's hear from Atul sir. Atul sir, what's your take on this? Male-female ratio maintenance at the core team CXO level? Are you there? Not responding. Let's hear from Saurav there. Saurav, you have any comment on this male-female ratio maintenance at a core team level?
So Vishal, this for me?
Okay. We can come back to you again. You are a bit late in responding. So I'm asking Saurav.
Sorry.
Yes, sir, please.
So I would not, since I run my own startup and I've tried to ensure a healthy gender ratio. I have females in my core team as well, and my partner is a male. So let me talk about co-founders first. I think the best part, I would prefer a male co-founder. The reason is very simple, because a lady has a lot of roles to play. It has nothing to do with skill set and capability. I'm sure ladies are better than men in a lot of ways, and similarly, men also have few qualities which are better than what female possesses. But practically, if I talk about India, I would prefer a male founder, a male co-founder, because as I mentioned, lady has a lot of roles to play. She's a mother, she's a wife, she's a daughter-in-law. So it will, so she has to face, so her bandwidths are limited. She cannot sacrifice her child. Child will always be her first priority. I'm not saying that there are a lot of women entrepreneurs who are doing it so well, but I strongly feel that men have a little bit of edge in terms of being a little bit irresponsible towards their personal commitments, and they can be more responsible towards their professional commitments. So this is what I have to say. Thank you.
Sure. Atul sir, yeah, please. The male-female ratio at the CXO level. Unmute, please. Unmute, please.
No.
Yes.
So I have a very strong view that any startup or a large company, if it doesn't have 40 to 50% female, then that is not going to succeed as much as it can or it should. So for me, it's not an optional thing. It's like a compulsory thing to have, that a co-founder, you need to have co-founders as girls and women in your team, because they bring some skills and some personality traits which is needed for a startup. Because I'm also trying to partially address the startup's concern that this is an old school of thought that women or girls are supposed to take care of child and family, and a male are supposed to do work outside. That's very old, ancient. Now, the husband, the father, they are equally expected to take care, raise the child, and they're expected to contribute in the kitchen or wherever. So that role definition at home based on the gender, that is a thing of the past. No longer, that's not needed anymore.
Sir, I'm talking about India.
No, I'm talking of globally, especially in India, because in India, I'm from India and I spend more time in India than any other. So I also give data about, it has been found that startups which have a female co-founders have had a better performance. Yesterday only I was reading a report on that. The startups with female co-founders, they have a better return on the investment. So it's not only about being nice or being compassionate towards female or being charitable towards female. Actually, there's a business case for having females as co-founder, because they have a different perspective, different experiences. And in terms of, even in the traditional society, like in India, traditionally, they have been managing raising a child. Raising a startup, running a startup is like raising a child. You know, the type of care and nurture a female brings. Male are traditionally more aggressive and assertive. They're more into fight and fight. Anytime there is a fight, there is a high likelihood that there will be a few males involved. Whenever more greater than one males interact, 2 or 3 or any number, there's a high chance of some ego clashes happening. And I also we have Gaurav ji from Co-Founders Planet. So he has, as a co-founders, can also share that when co-founders include females, there's a better, I would say, traction in terms of getting business or in terms of growth, and also in terms of stability. So female brings a bit more of a stable hand at the leadership. So I think it's imperative for entrepreneurs to have females as co-founders, and consult Gaurav ji if you're looking for a co-founder. He can help you. Right? Hopefully, Gaurav ji, you agree.
Sure. Prakash, what's your take on this? And then.
Okay, my take is that I don't see any difference with co-founder being a male and female, because there have been innumerable examples where women have also initiated solely. You have Falguni, who has taken the Nykaa to great heights. You have Chumbak, which is a combination of male female, touching the success. Then you have Amagi, which is also doing. So there is no gender bias. I think ultimately what matters is for a startup to succeed is the environment wherein the co-founders bring in their skill and knowledge and experiences to the table, and then work together as a team, and bring in their respective skills on the table, and then make sure that they concentrate on their skill set areas, and concentrate there to make the entire the unit, the startup, a success. So it totally imperative whether it is a male or a female. Ultimately, what you deliver and what you value, and how you take this whole thing, how you accept the challenge, and how you scale up each and every milestone. That's what matters.
Sure. Let me ask some females in the meeting. Muskan, what do you think? I mean, what's your take on having some gender ratio maintenance in companies? I mean, does that help, or do you think it's just a gimmick?
According to my point of view, I completely agree with Atul sir and Prakash sir. I completely see men and women both as a single person, and I think both contribute according to their experiences and according to their knowledge. What does matter is like how much experience a woman or a man have. And yeah, my personal point of view is that a woman is more experienced or more good in managing the things better than men, I think. I think she is more down to earth or humble towards the situations where the men are not.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from one more person. Ashna, what do you think about having females at a very leadership positions? Does that help or it doesn't matter? Male, female, it doesn't matter to maintain any ratio in a company especially at the leadership positions, the CXO level. What's your take?
I think both are same. If
Mhm.
better ideas can have both male and female. So I don't have such thing to say that yeah, men are better in a higher position of female. The
Yeah,
one who has the capability, the one who has leadership quality or a great ideas to take forward the company. So the one deserves to be on the higher position.
sure. Okay, so let me give a situation for everyone. Uh, let's say there is a sales deal that need to be closed, and the client is, let's say, I don't know, female dominated company or a female dominated product, let's say, and that is your potential client, and you are a male dominated company. Do you think having a female on your board might be easy to close that deal, or it doesn't matter? I mean, even male can do. Yes, Laksh, you want to say something, please? Yeah, anyone who wants to say something, please raise your hand, or
Yeah, am I
I'll
audible?
honestly take. Yes, yes.
Yeah, to be brutally honest, like I have been, hiring some salespeople under me for stock market and for looking for other, portfolios as well. And it has been like 3 months and more. And trust me, to the girls that I'm having, there are script जो कि same है, but as compared to men, girls are performing well.
Okay.
Even if they are being in charge of higher profiles and men are in charge of lower profiles, but still and even if girls are totally new to sales, right? I mean, even if men are a bit of experience, I still do find people getting more closer to the female salesperson as well.
Mhm. Sure. So yeah, everyone can have their opinion. No need to get too emotional about it. Okay, Anupam Shukla wants to add something. Anupam, please. Yeah, what's your
I
comment or
think
take? Yeah.
I think only thing that matters that is skill. But when it comes to counseling, I mean communicating, women can do more better, more fluently, and I think convincing skills have greater women in compared to men. So I will go with female co-founder. I think they can manage better.
Sure.
They,
Okay, now,
they are very humble, and it will also attract women clients and women members in our team. But actually, I'm not biased at gender. If any man have more skills and knowledge and managing skills, I will go with him.
sure. So you're saying performance matters, but there has
Yes, sir.
been some correlation of performance with the gender also.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Kundan wants to say something. Please, Kundan. Yeah. Then Hariji. Please.
I think women have the better convincing power because whenever they try to sell something, they talk humbly to the people, and most when they talk to like men, when women talk to men, the men sometimes can't say no to women, and they can easily be trustable. Like a woman is doing some sale work, though, so they are easily trustable. That's why women should also have part in the co-founding team.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Mr. Hari, please, what's your take? You have been in corporate job for a long time, I think. Yeah, please.
Yeah, my take is like I have seen women sales professionals performing at par or much better than male counterparts, rather than regardless of the degrees or the education or maybe the skills, because coming to selling, women always have female always have an upper hand. I'll say, like they are the pitching is something different as compared to males. So I feel it's really hard for someone to say no or bluntly say no to a female. So females perform very well during in sales type of thing, but it is sad that in India, like the employees, like female employees, are very less into this type of marketing and field sales jobs. So I feel like women have an upper hand coming to sales, and also in type of accounting, like in accounting things also women can be very female can be very good, and we can encash that opportunity. And also coming to like telecalling type of jobs, a receptionist. So these are all jobs where a female will perform much better than a man.
Okay, let's hear from Enrico. Are you there, Enrico? So question is male-female ratio maintenance at CEO level, C-level employees, I mean co-founder, CXO. What's your take? I mean, do you think it matters, like in your country at least?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, some problems with my microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an interesting topic in terms of you know, the male-female relationship, and yeah, the females they tend to be more organized in terms of you know, administration, but I think we shouldn't box them in terms of that, to say that that's the role that we see them in a business, in a startup, in a environment. So within the sales environment, when I led teams, invariably the females were more successful, and I think somebody mentioned it, that people relate a bit better to a female because there's very little ego involved. So when it's men, you know, there's egos involved, and you know, they were the better performers in terms of whether it be sales, whether it be any output on the balance scorecard. They would then you know, necessarily exceed those. But in an environment where there's a startup, I think the what actually drives them is their goal, their why. Why are they doing it? So that doesn't differentiate between being male and female. It's just ultimately what they want to achieve, and how they get there might be a little different, but they would want to get there, and how they engage with funders, with you know, the community that they are in. So it just depends on also the way that they are perceived in the interaction. So some patriarchal societies might
Sure. I think not audible anymore. And
need to be
yeah. Now you're okay. Now you're okay. Please finish.
Okay.
Yeah, you can finish now. I think we can hear you. Okay. So let's. Any closing remarks anyone has to make before we move to the next? Maybe let's take from Gaurav only. Gaurav, so what do you think? I mean,
Yeah.
you want
So
to add anything?
yes, to you know, I just where I started. So you know, essentially, gender, male female doesn't matter. So the skills, the need of the team, what they exactly bring on the table, that is what will be the, you know, decision makers and the main eco point where we can decide which gender we should choose, whether it is a male or a female co-founder. So essentially, the knowledge and the skills. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sejal wants to add something. Sejal, please.
Yes, sir. At co-founders level, one thing that like a female can fulfill is holding everyone's together. And majority of females have this quality inbuilt in herself, holding everyone together. Like in family, she does. So that can help at co-founders level. And on second thing, if a female considers her startup or her company as a child, then I think she would do it more better. And if she considers startup apart from her family, then there are like priorities are different for the staff, then no one can like defeat her. She'll conquer it.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So coming to next point now. So I think taking it to the next level, basically, let me do the third point first, maybe pros and cons of diversity in a team. So this male-female was one angle of diversity, but there are several more angles of diversity that people can have. Let's say different parts of the country where they come from, different cultural diversity, different thought process, maybe different kind of party, political parties they support. So the next question on the floor is that, do you think we should emphasize on diversity in a team? Or, I mean, obviously this is a bit later when the team grows, not the very initial level, maybe the co-founder level, but let's say next to the co-founder, do we think that diversity can matter? And I'm giving one example of B schools. All the top B schools very much emphasize on this diversity. So if I talk about INSEAD, Harvard, even IIMs, they try to make sure that there is enough diversity in the cohort that is going for every batch, so that the least they learn is by that difference of opinion that is floating on everyday basis. So let's hear from Gaurav only to start. Gaurav, what do you think? I mean, since we are
so just a bit, I'll give you with an example actually.
Sure.
See, in this particular meeting, I can see 23 participants, right? So what if we make an Excel sheet of all these 23 participants, and in that Excel sheet we write our names, our numbers, our skill sets, our own country or location, specific location. Now, what will be the advantage of that? The advantage will be, say supposedly tomorrow I have a client meeting in Bihar. Okay. So if from the same Excel sheet, I see that two persons are there from Bihar. Say Aman Raj is from Bihar. So what I'll do is I will actually click on Aman Raj. I'll call him up, say, hey, I am landing tomorrow morning. So how about you and me going together and try to close the deal? So what this example shows? This example shows that our network, how diversified is our network. On the other hand, if I did not have that kind of an Excel sheet and I did not have that kind of an approach in all these locations, what I will do is I will go myself, I will try to talk to them. Now, another kind of diversity advantage is the language proficiency. What is language proficiency? See, if I go deep down into South, I am going into, at 7, I got a call from Odisha. This fellow wanted to buy my franchisee. So what I did, I immediately patched him up with my Odisha partner. Immediately that fellow, both of them started talking in Odia. Now, what is the advantage? The advantage is when somebody talks in your own language, the connect immediately gets established. So if I can understand Hindi more and somebody talks to me in Hindi, I will connect to that gentleman or that lady much more than probably any other language. So that is the power of diversity, locational, geographical advantage, which probably only a diversified network can provide to you. Say, for example, if I talk about a network like LWT, this academy, this 10 p.m. Discussion, it's a wonderful platform wherein all the people from diversified regions are coming. If I talk about DoDash community, if I talk about Co-Founders Planet, what are these? These are essentially diversified communities. And trust me or not, the future is about community building and how much capitalize we can, as an individual, how much benefit we can derive from that community. Hope that, sort of answers the question.
Yeah, sure. Prakash, sir, what's your take on this diversity?
Yeah, see, I'll say that it also plays a significant role, and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on what kind of situation and scenario you are in. Okay, certain times what happens is that if there's a startup or there's a venture looking into expanding beyond a particular country, okay, or look at it that it's likely to go into a particular continent, let it be Middle East or Latin America or Europe or Shenzhen region. Now there, what happens is that to understand and supposing it's more of B2C kind of environment that you're entering into, it is imperative that the people who are behind the project and are taking the product into that area, should have the understanding of the consumer behavior, their preferences, their choice, and that is where having a local partner will make as much that difference, and more so if the product or the kind of scenario also demand a kind of a government liaison, because if you have something like consumer product, eatable or a medicine kind of thing, where you require some kind of local licenses and approvals, having a local person on board with you makes your job much easier, because he can neither not only guide you but also take the things much more effectively and quicker. I know of scenario wherein somebody entered India but didn't know anything, including the fact that they hired a wrong set of legal advisor, and the entire business was stuck up for 3 years. And after that, they realized that nothing is happening, and then they changed the lawyer, and who helped them in getting into through the FDI route to bring into this entire scenario. So there are certain situations. So it depends on what situation and what environment you are in, which country you are getting into, and what is that entire. So it changes, pertaining to, it changes differing to the product, the country, and everything else. So it is case to case basis. I'll say it's case to case basis. Sometimes it favors you, sometimes it is neutral. So you can go ahead with your own setup.
Sure. I think in India, especially when we have so many states, so many cultures mixed, it can even help at India national level, as a country like India, I guess. Yes, please. Yes, Prakash, you wanted to add something on India?
No, I concluded.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's hear from Saurav there. So he's also, I think he has a diversified team. He has mentioned several times. So Saurav, please could you highlight pros and cons of having diversity in a team? I mean, is there any cons you see? In pros we talked a lot. You can even highlight the pros according to your point of view, please.
I think the beauty about India is you pick any two people, they will be diverse. So jokes apart, I have a team, and I have around 100 odd people in my team, and so if I talk about diversity, obviously one is gender, the other is the kind of education they have. Few are MBAs, few are BTech, few are just science graduates, few are even students, because we have a lot of interns. So there are sales, marketing, finance, operations, a whole lot of diverse background I have, and it helps because we are targeting pan India. So for example, we are opening a store in Kerala, and I have couple of South Indians, and then we were discussing today that how to go about it. So obviously diversity helps if you want to become a global, or let's say a Indian company, rather than restricting to a particular state. So I think it brings a lot of different views on the table, which is good because it helps us achieve a better outcome. I think Sejal just mentioned in the chat as well. So different opinions bring the best out of you. So I think it helps.
Sure. Any cons you faced? I mean, at times decision making might be slow or something like that. Anything like that, or all good only?
I haven't faced any cons. I think different opinions bring the best out of us.
Sure.
Obviously, you have to put your egos aside.
Learn
If
that,
there
I
are
guess.
egos in the room, if there are egos, then you would definitely have cons. But if the purpose is one, I think diversity helps.
Sure. So I guess people learn how to let
In
go their
fact,
ego.
I'll just add something. I
Yes.
learned from my B school. My B school had 5 pillars. So compassion, mindfulness, sustainability, diversity, and ethics. So diversity is one of the pillars which will lead to your success.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay. Atul sir is here. Yeah. Atul sir, what's your take? I gave one example on the B school anyways, on the diversity things. And other than that,
Sure,
do
Vishal.
you see that in corporate, like you have been with corporate startups, B school, all of them? Please compare according to you.
Sure. So both in corporate, business schools, and even life, lack of diversity can be a biggest cause for failure or not growing up fast enough, because often one of the challenges people see with diversity, there are too many opinions and too many point of views or different perspectives, so that can make the decision making slow. Not necessarily, because if you have a strong leadership, so leadership will take opinions from everyone and give everyone a chance. But at the end of it, they will own the decision, so they will take it. So even if majority says ki go left, but the leader feels ki we should go right, then leader will do right, go right. So we need to have a strong leadership, which will make sure that discussions and conflicts don't slow down things. I'm sorry, but having diversity is very, very important, because without diversity you will not see, and diversity is not only about gender, male, female, or transgender or sexual, but it can also be about color, as in white and black. It could be about nationality or religion. So too many Hindus in a group, too many or too many, let's say in America, for example, most of the investment banks, hedge fund, there are too many Jews in the group. So you need to have a diversity of multiple things, diversity of experiences, diversity of perspective, age, race, gender. All this diversity is important. And there are a lot of publications also on that, like for example, I'm in America here. Lack of diversity was there. Like blacks were brought from Africa as slaves, but that diversity has started to change, but still not there. Still, America is a white dominated country and a male dominated country. So America is making efforts, making progress, but I think countries like Finland, Denmark, and they are much ahead in terms of gender diversity, but they're not ahead on other dimensions. That way, I feel India is default right from the beginning of time. India has been very diverse, that everybody has an opinion, and we are very also loud and vocal about our opinions. So that's a good thing actually. And the only diversity which India is slightly lacking on, and that was gender diversity, that has started to make correction. Now females are also coming up on leadership in many roles. And there's another diversity which India was lacking was regional diversity or language-based diversity, because Maharashtra being in the Mumbai being the economic capital, Western India, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and the places, or even also let's say in the south also, for example, Tamil Nadu has a lot of technology companies and industry, a lot of engineers from south. So India also has these disparities, but slowly that's coming down. And there's a urban versus rural diversity. The way you look at world and the way your experience as an urban place, the way you live in Delhi or Bombay, Bangalore or Patna is not the same as a village like Abhishek ji is from Chhapra, or somebody from rural, a tribal place in Jharkhand. Different background. So in my perspective, we need to look at diversity from multiple perspectives and think of all the possible ways where people might feel differentiated against, or they might be disadvantaged. Try to they call it proactively. You have to make sure that your team is not deprived of diversity, because what happens, we hang out with our own circle. So a few guys from the same college, same school, or same friend circle, they'll hang out together and they won't try to be discriminated. But by default, when you're doing a startup, let's say Saurabh ji is from a college, and his few of his best friends are his classmates from engineering college. There's a high chance that his startup will have few of his engineering college classmates or even friends as co-founders. But the effort to be made here is, oh no, I have to make an extra effort to make sure that I have some girls also in my co-founding team. I have to make some you have to go out of the way to make sure that your diversity ensured, but not a compromise on quality or anything else. But effort has to be extra to ensure diversity. That's all I wanted to highlight.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Let's hear from Muskan. So Muskan, you are I think right now you're doing MBA. So I'm pretty sure you would have a bit of a diversified class in your people
Yeah,
in your class.
exactly.
So what do you?
Yeah.
I mean, do you see problems also at times, like you mentioned?
Yeah, I think diversity helps. You will get to know about different point of view, different perspective, and it helps sometimes. But I think sometimes it leads to conflicts. We, as a humans, mostly feel comfortable with the people having the same, same minds. So if I talk about myself, I feel comfortable in hanging out with the friends I feel comfortable with. So as I'm right now in an MBA college, I have a lot of diversified students from different states. So I don't find, I just don't find comfortable in talking to some of them because I just don't like their perspective in few things. So I think diversity is good, but not always.
Sure. So from a hanging point of view, at least diversity might become very problematic
Yeah,
at times.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So let's hear from Enrico also. Enrico, what do you think about diversified team? I mean, like, do you believe diversity plays a major role? Pros and cons.
Okay, so in terms of diversity and
I
a
think you
broad
can.
term, so I'm
Yeah.
going to switch off my video.
Yeah, maybe switch off the
Yeah.
camera. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
please.
so diversity is, yeah, so diversity is even broader in terms of just background, education, and that also plays a big part in how people engage each other. And I think somebody mentioned it in terms of education. So our education system is also very diverse. So it's also very tricky. So if you went to the same university, you went to the same school, so you walk the path together. So when you have an idea to start a business, you would normally gravitate towards those people, and you would be in the same type of network, you would have exposure to the same type of funding or the same type of resources to start a business. So if you are more predisposed to living in an affluent area, you would be able to start multiple startups, multiple businesses and fail, but not feel the effect of the failure because you're forced to bankroll the next project and the next project.
Voice is breaking now.
And diversity is breaking. Yeah,
Yeah, now it was okay. Now it's better, I think. Yeah. Please finish.
Okay, sorry, man. My signal is quite bad. So
We all are
just
limited
to
by
make the
our
point is
broadband
that
speed, I think. Yeah, please.
so diversity is good in terms of the different types of diversity because it gives people perspective as well as on the marketing side and they would know which market and the route to market will be much shorter because there's a diverse team that can brainstorm and then get to market much quicker.
Sure. Yeah. So just to summarize, I think the diversity might also help in creating that marketing strategies for different location or different cultures, let's say spreading in the country or globally. So that's what Enrico was saying in his last few sentences. Okay, Anupam Shukla wants to say something. Yeah, yes, Anupam, please.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I think diversity matters a lot. It will help us to enhance our reach. Diversity should be based on locality, language, skills, even in mindset also. As an example, if mixed people are in our team, like extroverts and introverts both, then we have more opportunity to grow. Extroverts can inspire and motivate, while introverts create new ideas and inventions. And if we talk about conflict, if there was better management, it will not be happen. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So I think what Anupam was saying is both, I mean, just two diversified groups are extrovert, introvert, and having, both have their own role to play in an organization, and having those will be good. And if the top management is good enough, the conflicts will be can be thrown in more of a productive side than
Yes,
conflicts.
that is my
Sure.
point.
Thank you, Anupam. Okay, so coming to our very last point, where we talked about the credentials of team members in raising investment. So in India, especially, premium astute people get a bit of an edge at times, not always though, but at times there is a trend seen. So let's just take uh, people's opinion on this. Let's start from Gaurav. Gaurav, what's your take on the credential of the core team or the co-founders team on raising investment? Do you think there is a small correlation, no correlation, or?
See, honestly, the kind of investors and the investment circle I know, they all prefer to bet their money wherein more than one founder is there. So what happens is the business dependency is not solely dependent on one person. Honestly speaking, I was talking to, last week only, I was talking to one of the investors only. He gave his own case study wherein his own first startup that he was running as a solopreneur, ultimately that company was also acquired. It was acquired not because he wanted to sell it. It was very forceful because he was bedridden for close to 6 to 7 months. So his valuation, say supposedly, was 2x. He had to forego that company for X. The reason being he was the solopreneur there and he could not run the show because of logical, reasons, because of medical emergency. So this is just one case study of only one person running the show. Second is, as an investor also, people like to believe in a team. Why? Because if a founder has, the start process is by finding a co-founder. If a founder has not successfully founded or have another partner to run his own show, how can they believe in their, probably the project itself? It shows the kind of camaraderie and also the kind of qualities that the founder is having, that he can run. It is more like a marriage. I always treat the entire process like a matchmaking process. The process of finding a co-founder or finding another person to work along is more like finding a matchmaker. So the exact thing is, if as an investor they prefer if more than one person is running the show and the skill sets are preferably complementary. If that is the case, then that creates a very wonderful case study for them to invest in an investable project. Now there are too many more, terms and conditions are attached, which can take probably another Zoom session, why and how a project becomes investable. But to summarize it, if there are more than one people, then obviously it becomes easier for the investor. And one more important thing is that the kind of background these co-founder is having, the core team is having. We always use the word core team. So core team is constitutes of the, the early team member who have actually shown interest and believed in the concept, the idea. They have actually really slogged to become, from zero. There is a saying, 0 to 100 is easy, is very tough compared to 100 to 1 lakh. So who were there from 0 to 100? So that is where the investor actually bets their money on. So if I talk about co-founders planet also, if say I am the founder there and you are the co-founder there, so what essentially happens is people, secondly, in especially the early stage entities, they put their money more on the team, then comes the concept also. So team, especially the core team, is the crux of the investment. And it is a very, very important point to consider while investing in a project also.
Atul sir, please. Please unmute yourself. Yes, please.
I just wanted to, I agree with whatever Gaurav said. One point I just wanted to make was that if you're a co-founder for an entrepreneur, you have not been able to sell the idea to your own friends or family or classmates, then the investors and others will see that as a weakness, because people who know you so well, your own classmates or your own friends and family members, if you're not able to sell the idea to them, then they might doubt your ability to sell it, because initially most startups, when they start, the first clients happen to be initially trying to build let's say I'm building a juice company, so I'll start with selling that juice to my family members, like even in school days also, like children when they do start those fun projects, they're trying to sell that juice or soda, whatever, to their friends and family and neighbors. So that is a good test of how much of sellability does your idea or you as a team have. Because if you're not able to sell this to people whom you know, then, or people who know you, then how will tell to the rest of the world? Doesn't mean that all co-founders have to be from your own circle. The diversity point is important. So the other person can be in a different part of the world, from a different ideology, everything else. But being able to convince few people to join your co-founder is a good test of how strong your idea is and how strong you as a salesperson or you as a founder are in ability to sell that idea.
Sure.
I hope Dr. Gaurav also agrees with that.
Sure. Let's hear from Saurav. So, Saurav, I think in one of the sessions you made a comment that I am always looking for failed entrepreneurs to join my team. So, coming to the question again, credential of the team, not just educational, but other credentials. Do you think, in your case also, when you are raising funds, your previous credentials help you a bit?
Credentials only helps in your first fundraise. Rest, the business has to do the talking. Initially, when we raised, since I come from a background, I've worked with Paytm, Wipro, HCL, that helped definitely. My partner had an optical background, and that too working for a US unicorn in the optical space. So all these things help definitely, but follow-on rounds are only on the basis of numbers, and so it is a myth actually, because I am not I don't come from elite colleges, or I don't have very good academics to support me, and similarly my friend, my partner. But I think this is completely a myth. At the end of the day, your capability is judged on the basis of the numbers you are clocking and not on your credentials.
Prakash, you have a take on this? Any credentials?
Yeah, I'll see. Okay, I will go with this thing that yes, as an investor, if I am putting my money into some venture, I look for diversity. I look for multiple co-founders. The reason is that each one brings in their experience from the field that they have. There could be somebody who is finance expert. There could be somebody who is a growth hacker. There could be somebody who has got a product knowledge, and there could be somebody who has got the capabilities and skill set when it comes to building up IT infrastructure, AI, and other kind of thing that is there. So I look for a basket which has got at least, if not more, at least 2 to 3 co-founders who are there. That brings in the very question of the diversity that we are looking at, because ultimately it's not that one person cannot scale up. I'm not bringing in a question to the the capability of a single person not being able to take their business to a greater height. But then it always, as a person who is investing money in a startup, I'll look for somebody which has got a good team. Okay, if not, at least having a couple of them who are technologically savvy or understand and comes from a similar background with an experience, who is done into some kind of a product selling, some kind of a growth, some kind of a product knowledge or technical thing from the similar field.
Sorry, you want to add something? Or?
No, that's all.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Enrico, let's hear from you also. We are almost done. So Enrico, what's your take on this team credentials on, let's say, making a startup investable? I mean, there are cases in which the business pivots, but the team stays. So
in terms of the team credentials, who's the?
Yeah, I mean, is how important is the team in making the investment possible, rather than the business, let's say?
So it's important that they always say the jockey is important. The person that leads the team is important, and you need to have shown enough credibility first of all that you can deliver and that you've got some sort of experience in the market, and that is why it's important that you have a team around you with diverse skill as well to complement your skill, because you don't know everything, and that's why collaboration is important, and it goes back to diversity that is important, so that everybody has a role to play within the environment that you're trying to create. So as an investor, as a funder, you look at all those aspects to say, has this person done it before, or anybody in the team has experience in the field first of all, because that will then also dictate in terms of how quickly the business can scale, whether there needs to be, there's certain barriers that first of all need to be overcome before you can reach a certain stage. Because when an investor looks at a business to invest in, they're going to have a timeline to see how quickly or how long it will take for them to either recoup their funding or for the business to run optimally. And what are the resources? So you do your homework in terms of understanding who is the people, how does the market react to it? Is there a need for the product or service that you're offering? Is it innovative enough? What other services are there that are similar to this, and what is the differentiator? And normally, 9 out of 10 times, the differentiator would be the founder, because he believes in what he's doing and he will add more value to the environment because he's done his homework to make sure that his product or service is the best.
Sure. Okay, so we are out of time now. So we had a great discussion. So we'll have this startup night out every Friday, 10 p.m. Indian time, same time. And we'll come up with new topics, and we'll have this group discussion and small breakout room sessions again and again. And so I hope to see some of you, all of you again, and maybe some more people. So thank you very much for all your time. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night from South Africa.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.